All right, so
Yeah.
I mentioned before the break that we're going to talk sports related. It's
Okay.
actually not sports related,
What?
but it's in regards to an athlete and what he's doing here in Indonesia. So welcome back to the C Morning Show, everyone. Now, we're going to start off by sharing with you that we know that footballers today are global icons and they have immense influence due to their popularity.
And many use their platform to give back, supporting underprivileged communities and children through various social initiatives.
One such example is Marc Klok from Indonesia's national team as well as Persib Bandung, who helps less fortunate children in Indonesia through the Marc Klok Foundation.
Founded in 2023, the foundation focusing on improving the lives of underprivileged children through education, football programs, and building facilities for children with special needs.
And to delve deeper into his efforts and find out more about the Marc Klok Foundation, we're now going to connect live with Indonesian national team and Persib Bandung player, as well as the founder of the Marc Klok Foundations, Marc Klok himself. Good morning, Marc. How are you?
Hello.
Good morning.
Hi, Marc.
Selamat pagi.
Selamat pagi. Thank you for joining us this morning. So good to have you.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure and an honor to be invited. I
Nice.
appreciate it.
All right,
Yeah.
so let's, we're always talking football, but I'm glad we're able to highlight this thing that you're doing here in Indonesia. So let's talk a little bit about the Marc Klok Foundation. What is it and what inspired you to start this initiative?
I think a couple years back, I received so much in Indonesia, and I was like, how can I give back those blessings? I felt like I received a lot, and I thought it's also time to do something back with it. And with having deep discussions with my team and my partner, we said, okay, let's open a foundation because we think through my platform we can actually inspire, motivate, and educate a lot of kids. And what was it that we wanted to do? Because when I grew up in the Netherlands, I was fortunate enough to educate myself through sports and through football, and every kid out there had this chance. And I felt like whenever I came to Indonesia, I felt like it was so difficult for kids to see their way out of where they are at that moment by not having facilities or by not having the right education, by not having football pitches around them to do what they really love to do. So we were like, okay, let's jump in there and see how we can make a difference and an impact in their lives. Will not be all of the kids in Indonesia, of course, because the country is very big. But if we can leave an impact and have some kind of positive change on a few kids, that will already make me happy.
All right. Now, Marc, can you share with us some of the programs that your foundation has already made throughout this time?
Sure. So our mission is to create a platform where every kid has the right to dream and the access through education and sports. The mission in that is the programs such as renovation of football fields, building of schools, doing coaching clinics with them. But I think the main focus is the education through sports. And I think that through sports, by having the right football facilities, and then I mean football pitches and balls and tools, people can actually, and kids can actually learn a lot through football. Teamwork, discipline, motivation. There are so many aspects in sports which you can bring into normal life as well. So I would say that are the most focus points, the biggest focus point in our foundation.
Yeah, you have a very interesting tagline as well. It's Goal Kita, which translates to our goal. And I think that translates to both in football and your main goal of the foundation. Now, as you mentioned, Indonesia is massive. There's many underprivileged areas everywhere. So what are some of the challenges that you faced when you initially started this foundation? And I mean, where do you start? Like you mentioned, it's such a large place where the country has many needs. How do you select where to start and what to focus on?
True, good point. I think by going into it and actually dive into it, like where should we help? I think the biggest problem at the same time opportunity is that you actually realize that a lot of people need help and a lot of areas need help. And what I said before, it's impossible to help everything and everyone. But it's by finding, I think, the right place where you feel most committed to at the start, and to see what is actually close to your values. And I think the kids as well, or the people who are organizing that place, because in Indonesia you have a lot of kepala desa and people who are running the area. And I think those are deep discussions, with government as well. Like, okay, we want to help, but how can we jump in? And do you allow us to jump in?
That's right.
I think that are a bit the discussion points and maybe the difficulties as well, because it's also kind of bureaucracy.
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, Mark, I also want to know, how do you manage to make sure that it is sustained, what you're doing, not only like one-off thing, but it's actually for the long run?
True, yeah, good question. So for now, we are only 1 year old, almost 1 year old. We have already built 2 schools and 1 football field. And a lot of campaigns in the meantime. We all do this under the umbrella of what you said before, Goal Kita, because I want to make it a collateral goal, not just a Marc Klok, but a goal of my friends, my family, people who support the vision and mission. And it's not about me, it's about the kids and about Indonesia. So that's why Goal Kita came as a name for it, as an umbrella. And I want to continue this mission and vision of Goal Kita in the next years without putting an end date to it, but just building it slowly over the next years, sustainable, with the right help and support, of course, from other people and donors and brands who want to jump in.
Yeah, and you do things like fundraising as well. There's a limited jersey that was sold, a Goal Kita jersey, and all the proceeds have gone towards the Marc Klok Foundation in order to raise more funds for your initiatives. So you're a busy guy. We talk sometimes and you're either busy practicing or you've got matches, you're well into the Liga 1 season already, you've got another child on the way. How do you balance all of your personal, professional time along with managing enough time for the foundation as well?
I think it's all about delegating and having the right people around you. I think that's the most important for every successful entrepreneur, I think. And I'm lucky enough that I have really good people at the foundation, which are helping me support that vision and mission and translating that actually into action, which decrease my workload for it, of course. And at the same time, I can really focus on the strategy and see what I want to do and connect with people in my free time.
I see. Now, speaking of connecting with people, what message would you like to share with these children that you're helping who are pursuing their dreams? Maybe you can share with us some of your stories when you're approaching them, talking to them.
I think at first it's quite funny always. They are very insecure and very shy because they're always thinking, oh, I cannot ask questions.
Yeah.
And they just see you as some kind of superhero or something from a movie. And then I try to approach and just have a good chat, but normally you go through the teacher or through the how you say that, the person who managed the kids at that area. And I just want to, and then basically I do a speech out of myself because I want to empower them that they should never stop dreaming and never stop believing in their own goals, despite the struggle they have now, the difficulties they have now. Because no one who is successful had it all easy and all figured out. Me also, I went to struggles, I went to hardships. So I want to empower that same vision I had for myself to the kids. And of course they are having it more difficult than I had or we had. but nothing is impossible. And I think that's the message I want to give to them, with the right tools, of course, because they need support. But what I said, nothing is impossible, and they should see that and have a clear goal along the line for themselves.
I absolutely believe that sports is one platform where it doesn't matter where you're from or how underprivileged you are. If there's talent there to be found, if given the right platform, you can certainly secure a future for yourself and your family and those around you.
Yeah, that's true. Now, Mark, what is your long-term vision for this foundation of yours, and how do you hope it evolves in the next few years?
I really hope that a lot of people will join the Go Kita campaign and the Go Kita vision. And then I mean, friends, family, influencers, actors, politicians, just to see that, everyone can have a part in having a better Indonesia and a more sustainable Indonesia for kids. Because I think that the most important fact in sports is the grassroots level, because they are the next generation. They have to do it next. And all starts by having the right facilities for them. So I really hope that we can be in any city in Indonesia with having football pitches accessible for everyone, free to use, over the next years.
Absolutely, and we also hope that as well, because we do know how much it's needed here in Indonesia. So, before we let you go, I gotta ask, because we do have you on here. Big match is coming up. We call it the El Classico of Indonesia. It is your team, Persib Bandung, taking on Persija Jakarta. Persija has 2 wins, 2 draws, and 1 loss, I believe. You guys have 2 wins and 3 draws, which puts you 1 point ahead of Persija. How are the preparations for this upcoming big match?
Busy, because we had a lot of matches. The league, Champions League yesterday. Persija coming up on Monday, so very short time to prepare. But this is a one-off match, what you said. It's always special. My previous team as well.
Yep.
So it's always intense. Fans are really excited, and the players are also really excited. Just personally, I'm struggling a bit with an injury that is holding me back since the start of the season. So I really hope I can make it to be there. But it's gonna be tight.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a great match. That's coming up on Monday as well, and we wish you a quick recovery. And for all of our viewers that are interested to find out more about the Marc Klok Foundation, you can just look them up on Instagram. The handle is @the Marc Klok Foundation. Mark, it's always a pleasure catching up with you, and thank you so much for what you're doing, not only in football, but for the children around Indonesia as well.
Thank you. Best of luck.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Get well soon.
All right.
Thank you.
Here it is. Class act.
Yeah. Wow. Very inspiring person indeed. Now, we are set for another break. When we return, entertainment news just for you. So stay with us.